said that our experience of food is a complex story and involves all five of our senses, even through sight, the impact of color or the presentation of food, and through hearing, the expectation of crunchiness, affects our perception of the food we eat. However, there is no doubt that our flavor experience is mainly made up of the senses taste and smell. While tasting food, we detect the five basic tastes in our mouth and on our tongue: sweetness, saltiness, bitterness, sourness, and umami. Humans have 2,000 to 5,000 taste buds found scattered over the surface of their tongue. Each taste bud contains about 50 to 150 taste receptor cells that are relatively selective for the taste they sense. Chemical stimuli interact with the membranes of taste receptor cells, either by binding to membrane receptors or by directly changing the number of ions flowing across the membrane. Saltiness is caused by taste receptor cells that respond primarily to sodium chloride. There are proteins in your tongue that help change the taste of salt into nervous signals. They are called epithelial sodium channels. They allow sodium ions to enter the cells and cause the release of chemical neurotransmitters, causing nerve cells to carry the taste of salt information to the brain. Sourness is sensed by taste receptor cells in a way that directly affects ion channels. Sourness protons enter either through the epithelial sodium channels or block epithelial potassium channels to create a cellular response. Bitterness is also sensed by blocking potassium channels in taste receptor cell membranes. Saltiness, sourness, and bitterness are all ionic taste stimuli, which is just the way the three senses interact with the membranes of the taste receptor cells by changing the number of ions flowing across the membrane. Sweetness and umami are the two senses that bind themselves to a specific membrane receptor protein in taste receptor cells. The chemicals sensed as sweet bind to certain places on the tongue's membrane in a lock and key sort of way. So these sweet chemicals can only bind to a particular binding site on the tongue. Once the sweetness locks into the binding site, a series of chemical reactions occur, sending neurotransmitters to the brain. The taste of umami is sensed by binding to another type of cell membrane receptor that allows the flavor to be sent to the brain. Even though the chemistry of taste is very interesting, taste is only 20% of our flavor experience. Smell is far more important, seeing as it takes up 80% of our flavor experience. We can smell up to 10,000 different odors. Odors consist of one or more aroma molecules. Aromas are volatile compounds and reach our noses and mouths through the air. Volatile compounds are organic chemicals that have a high vapor pressure at ordinary room temperature. Their high vapor pressure results from a low boiling point, which causes large numbers of molecules to evaporate or sublimate from the liquid or solid form of the component and enter the surrounding air. The amount of volatile compounds present in food is extremely low. However, foods made by thermal processes alone or in combination with a fermentation process like bread, cocoa, or tea, they contain more than 800 volatile compounds. A great variety of compounds is often found in fruits and veggies as well. Aromas are the key drivers of our flavor experience and are therefore crucial for the synergy of food and drinks. That's why 80% of what we call taste is actually aroma. Here's an example. Coffee contains over 1,000 aromas. Coffee has a nice strong roasted smell and taste. Now sip your coffee with your nose closed, and this will turn your coffee into a very bitter drink. The senses, taste and aroma work together to give your food flavor. Imagine how boring life would be if nothing had any flavor. That's why all of the senses are very important to the way we live.